How do you know when you qualify for assisted living? And like, do our community, are we aware of that?
We are.
Okay.
The difference is that pay primarily or predominantly assisted living is out of pocket.
Okay.
That's private pay.
Okay.
You do have some long-term care insurance policies,
Mhm.
and especially for our Caucasian population, they get those things early. They
When
they
you say
start.
early, like break that down. What does that look like?
What that looks like is that when they're 40 or so, they may start paying on this policy, a long-term care insurance policy that pays for assisted living.
Okay. So is our community aware of long-term care policies, or are we still trying to grapple with even life insurance policies?
We're still grappling with life insurance policies.
So long-term care is like uh, somewhere in Mars still.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Predominantly, and I say that just based on some of the assisted living populations that we
Right.
go in,
Right.
it is predominantly, and when I say predominantly, it is generally, I would venture to say 85%, Caucasian or another race, and 15 or less
Of
percent of
black
black.
people.
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow.
And because otherwise, because most don't have even the long-term care insurance that's there in the assisted livings, most pay out of pocket. And some of those can range from $3,500 up to $6,000 a month.
Wow.
Now, the difference with nursing home, of course, that's generally Medicaid based.
Right. And
You know.
and so we end up typically there, and
Mhm.
then that's not a good look. And so now we're frustrated
Mhm.
because they have and I'm not saying, and when I say this, I'm not saying all nursing homes are like this, but most nursing homes don't give the proper care to our loved ones, and that becomes an issue.
That becomes an issue. The recommendation that I have is that if one must put their loved one in a nursing home, there's no alternatives. Do frequent pop-up visits.
Really?
Yes, because if they, whether you're in assisted living or a nursing home, if they know that Miss Johnson's daughter is gonna, come always, guess Miss Johnson is gonna look nice always.
A hospice where people go to die.
Absolutely not.
So that's a lie.
That's a lie.
So
And
so okay, let's talk about that.
let's talk about it.
Okay,
That's a lie.
so you entered into the hospice area,
Mhm.
and now you sharing with me that hospice is not where people go to die.
It is not.
So why do they go?
Hospice is a model of care
Really?
for the terminally ill. Yes. When no other treatment options are available, or they choose not to. For instance, if someone has cancer, and
Tiffany,
uh-huh.
I mean, this is a flashback.
Mhm.
My son had stage 4 liver cancer, right?
Mhm.
And he just got tired of the treatment.
Yes.
And he told him, all I want now is just morphine.
Mhm.
So is that why they start making that transition over to hospice care? Or
Yes, that has a lot to do with it.
okay.
And yes, very much so. It is very patient driven, not family driven, because it's the patient that's going, it's the individual that's going through it, right? And sometimes they get tired. They get tired of, and I'll expand a little bit more on that, because they get tired. They get tired of being poked on, prodded, the internal processes that are going on, the changes they feel, the isolation. It's more than just physical. It's the spiritual, emotional, physical toll that it takes on them. And so when they choose hospice, they're not choosing to give up, right? They're choosing an extension of the journey to the inevitable, right? But the another, misperception is, or misconception is, hospice doesn't get to choose when that last day of breath is. We don't get to choose that. So that's why I say it's a journey. Okay. And we're there, especially in my company,
What's the name of your company?
Utopia Hospice.
How did you come up with the name Utopia?
It is somewhat of a place of imaginary paradise, meaning that if you're laying there, you're in all this pain, regardless of the disease process, and you're just, you're daydreaming of the beaches in a better place, and try to that's called guided imagery, when you try to think of something different to take your mind off of what you're going through. And when you do that, you're usually thinking of a beautiful place, a beach, or walking through the forest, right? And that's what a utopia is. So when I come in, or when my team come in, we're not coming in death, dying, and gloom and doom. We're not doing that, right? We're going in with a smile on our face, and because what people don't understand is that they don't want to talk about dying. They don't want to talk about that. They want to focus on the living. And that's my job, is they're going to live while they're living. Death is going to come. So we talk about everything that they want to talk about. We come in, if they want a joke, I come in with a joke. Or, for instance, I walk in and the patient have lipstick on today. Ooh, Miss Johnson, you looking good today. That's the way I go in as soon as I go through the door. It's not, hi, Nurse Tiffany is here and I'm here to do this. It's not that.
Really?
We are very, very, we're your family coming in. That's the difference, that when we come in, we are your family. We're your friend. We sit and we listen. It is not just poking on you, prodding on you, taking your blood pressure, telling you, okay, you have this going on and this is what's going to happen next right away. It is not that. The beauty of it is that none of it comes out of your pocket. It's all free.
Really?
It's all paid for. It's a benefit of Medicare, Medicaid, some private insurance, VA, veterans, things like that. Yes. So supplies. We also provide diapers, wipes, pads, shampoos, a little bit of everything when it comes to supplies. So coupled with the fact that you're getting nurses, supplies, DME, though, and medications.
Durable medical equipment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we also provide medications related to the disease process. We pay for those. So you're getting all of that and that additional support at no cost. And that's what a lot of African Americans don't understand, because that's not explained thoroughly in the very beginning.
So have you ever witnessed families regret waiting too long to do hospice?
Yes.
What does that look like?
Teaching, we're going to provide you with the answers. And that's the benefit of it, is walking you through that journey and preparing you. So what we see as the outcome is the ones who were primarily involved. Those are the ones who are more at peace at the end of that person's journey, because they were there through it all. But the ones that, when we go to some of the funerals, right? Mm-hmm. When I go to the funerals, we can tell the family members who are the siblings, or the, who wasn't involved. Mm-hmm. Those are the ones who are flipping over the benches and crying and rolling on the floor. They weren't there. In that casket.
But they know they're not trying to get in that casket.
Exactly. Yes. Because the ones who were there, when you're there during that journey, we help foster that relationship. Maybe we brought people together, estranged relationships, helping them understand dad or mom or, whoever it is, because they're able to share who they were. And the child or the parent gets a better understanding of, and they share things like, what was their favorite, activity as a child. They get to know the intricate details. So they get to know their loved ones more, closer.
This is just an opinion, right? Mm-hmm. We know opinions are like elbows and buttholes. We all have one.
We all have one.
I believe the reason why, white people deal with death a lot is because they also talk about it. Mm-hmm. They buy life insurance policies, right?
Yes.
They purchase long-term care, right? Mm-hmm. So they understand that there is no escaping death while we're here on earth, whereas we feel like we're not going to ever die.
Right.
And so if we do die, it's a shock to us, right?
It's a shock.
But it's not a shock, because we are going to leave here. Mm. The problem is we're leaving so unprepared. We're leaving so unprepared to leave in things for our children's children, right?
Yes.
And this is where, and I've been posting this all this week, Tiffany, about, generational wealth is there's a lot of moving pieces to it. Mm-hmm. One is understanding how money works, right? Mm-hmm. Another piece of it is understand that we need to get life insurance, mm-hmm. not just only at our job, if we work a job, right? We need to also have the policy that we own outside the job.
Of it.
And it's just, I don't know if we don't I want to keep saying that we just have not been exposed to this, but we got so much technology today that I think we just want to be ignorant to
It's
the
a
fact.
choice. It's a choice. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
What have you seen that people have regret most at the end of their life?
Family, whether they worked too much or they didn't work hard enough to give their families the life that they should have, but also when they self-reflect is they wish they would have chased their dreams, would have made different choices. That's the main thing that we see is the regret of not of they do a lot of internalizing, looking at themselves to what could have been better, what could they have done different. And the most part is family and going for the job or their dream, chasing their dream, and not so much working so hard for someone else. We see a lot of that.
Really?
Yeah. Wish they would have done things different, And then we have those who are, what, I lived a good life. I lived a good life. And I'll say this, majority of those that say that are our Caucasian patients.
Yeah.
It's a lot of African Americans, those who we find regret. I wish I would have been a better parent. We get that a lot too. I wish I had a better relationship with my daughter. I wish I'd have done things different. We get a lot of that. And so, but we don't leave it at that. That's why we have the chaplain, the social worker, to talk about those things. Important. It would be that, and these two tying together, that hospice is a place where people go to die because they're going to give them morphine, and the morphine kills them. The morphine kills them. That is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. And my first thing is that I may order a comfort kit toward the very end of life when I see things changing. But I tell them, I educate on the morphine and everything in the comfort kit, meaning that some people never use the morphine. I would say majority never use the morphine because you've tried to manage the symptoms up until. So the morphine is designed to start low. The reason people have this misperception of it is because by this time the patient is already at a stage, but when morphine comes in, it should be when a patient is already no longer eating really, they're sleeping more, they're having some shortness of breath, they're having these type of symptoms, right? They're already
something happened with my son's eyes. The doctor had came in one day during the day, and she pulled me out and she said, "Kevin, it's about that time." I can't remember what she was saying. I said, "Doc, how you know? Because we've been in and out with him in hospice, but how do you know?" And she said something about my son's eyes.
The only thing I see with the eyes is that if they're using anxiolytic like a Xanax or Ativan or morphine, different things like that, it can cause them to have somewhat of a gloss over the eyes. But if you are a practitioner, you see it so often.
She called it. He, as a matter of fact, he died that night.
You can tell there's a certain odor. I can smell it.
Really?
Yeah. When they say, smelling death, I can smell death. I can see a lot of them become obtunded, or which is semi-comatose, to where they're alive, they're just not responding to anything, right? And sometimes giving morphine may occur prior to them getting completely obtunded. So people think that the morphine, caused them to die, but that is not the case. They're already going to pass away. Right. It's just the morphine is keeping them comfortable.
Right. Without pain that they would normally exude.
Yeah. Now, the down and out. Do you want your daughter Susan?
So that would fall on a wheel.
Nope.
They don't need a wheel?
No.
But
caregiver.
But when that process started happening, should there be some type of will and trust in place?
It doesn't have to be.
I know it doesn't have to be, but it just make the family dynamics less complicated.
Right, and that's why we have a social worker, because social worker is going to help you navigate the way.
Okay.
But prior to that, right, you want to have a discussion early, like in your 30s. Like, if, for instance, I need to have a conversation with my sons. My sons are 30 and 25, right? I need to have that conversation, because do I want to live with one of you, or do I want to go into assisted living, or do I want to go into a nursing home? Do I want a DNR? Do I want to have a feeding tube? Those are the conversations we have to start having, but we don't want to have those because
we don't want to talk about death.
We don't want to talk about death.
Yep.
But our Caucasian counterparts are usually more prepared. They've had that conversation, because I know that if, my daughter here she's, afraid of bodily fluids, then I'm probably not going to get the best care. So I'm going to let the baby girl take care of it. Right. So that's why I say it's important to have these conversations. But also, when you have things in place like a medical power of attorney, those things appoint who's going to be in charge.
Right.
Right. So there's no bickering, which there still is, right?
I mean, but it's